Today, a bunch of individual and some group work focus. The key to this whole thing is not making the same mistake twice and continuing to get better. So, open it up.
Questions?
Let's go. Give me quick.
I know no pads yet. Obviously, you got a long ways to go get started. But when you do get in there, when you have a quarterback competition, do you structure offensive practice different? Do you do more 7-on-7, 11-on-11 stuff? Is there anything you do different when you're in an open competition at quarterback?
No, we'll make sure that all those guys get a crack at it, and you try to balance your scheme of what you've installed for the day with all of your groups, certainly your quarterbacks as well, and get them exposed to everything. There's a flow to it subtly. You may tweak it where you end up a little bit more team, but some of that happens during the course of training camp. You pre-plan it, and then depending on where you're at as a football team, those things can subtly change too. Trying to make sure that they get exposed to all the situational football that we need here during training camps and emphasis too.
Josh, are you ready to name a starting quarterback?
Yeah. Well, surprise. Not yet.
What do you want the quarterbacks to accomplish this first week as they kind of start the competition?
Constant growth. Don't make the same mistake twice. Learn from the other guys that are at the position group. I think that's important for everybody, no matter what position you're playing. There's not enough reps for everybody to get every single look, every single install. So you got to continue to learn from everything that's on the field, and then during the course of practice, quarterbacks. Mastering what we're doing offensively. That's control and run game, pass game, the checks that we have in all forms of it. There's a lot that's on their plate. So communication, then your fundamentals, which is preceded by your eyes, and then being able to deliver accurate ball. So all those things are going to go into it.
How big is it to have a guy like Landry Jones, who's been in these similar quarterback competitions, played in the NFL, or a guy like Seth Luttrell, who's been a head coach, been an OC, as extra eyes for you and Joey when you have a quarterback competition like you do right now?
Well, guys that have been head coaches, are certainly a help to me, and I say that they got a different perspective. As you bring them in, they get a chance to hear something for the first time. Maybe a subtle tweak to how you're doing it or how you're communicating something. Has a chance to inch by inch get you a little bit better. You mentioned specifically Landry, his familiarity with some of our staff, some of the things that we do, his experience, NFL fundamentals, technique, how to prepare. During the course of game week, but the lead up to where we are today and constant growth. He was a pro because of who he was and how he handled himself every single day, and the process that he went through, or the journey that he went through as a player to become that. I think those are all extremely valuable lessons to all the guys that we have inside of that room.
When we were out there, Coach, you were watching the secondary quite a bit. How do you kind of go about which groups during individual periods you might float toward during a day? Is it just as you get out there, or do you kind of go into a day planning to, I'm going to watch these guys more?
Completely unplanned, just fly by the seat of my pants. No, I think it's important that your defensive guys see you. Same with special teams. So I try during training camp. I'm in those special teams meetings, but I think it's important your defensive guys see you too. So depending on the day, what the flow of practice is, what we have going on offense, early in the day, try to get over there, and then try to get over there for some pass rush as well at times.
Are you looking to add, or are you looking to just observe?
A combination of both, right? Observe, then add. When I see fit.
When you've got such a lot of new players, young players on offense, is the install or anything about the early practice, is the pace of the install slowed down compared to maybe veteran teams, or are you ever cognizant of when you need to pump the brakes because these are younger guys?
I think the install slows down earlier in the process than it does at this point in the process, meaning your winter block, which is limited time, your spring ball, And then, as you get into the summer, you're rehashing all those installs. By this time, we have parameters of what we want to install by day, by the, situations that we're going to encounter, where, there's a fairly consistent number of things that we're installing that are new to these guys. So, at night, as they get a chance to head back home, they get a chance to, go study it, redigest it. Most of what we will install this training camp, they've already been exposed to at some point.
Coach, kind of staying in that vein, how unique is it to be breaking in, new pieces, quarterback, center, receiver, and then how much of an advantage is it that you, Glenn, Kelsey, Joey have been together for so long? I'm sure have a shorthand.
Yeah, I think the continuity of our staff, working through all the details, the kinks, being on the same page is a huge benefit, huge help, because it allows us to break up into our position rooms and be seamless and be in sync. Man, young guys, I said it yesterday, our players have heard it a bunch. Young guys don't have time to be young. We started that in January, and so, they got to continue to grow. I mentioned it earlier, don't make the same mistake twice. Learn from your other buddies that made a mistake, in constant growth. We get to the fall, nobody cares, what age, guys are when they're playing. It's the end result. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Joey Aguilar yesterday said, after the first phone call you guys had during the transfer portal, he hung up and said, if they're all in, I'm all in. I'm wondering if there was a moment during that conversation you had with him where you're like, this could be our guy.
I think the maturity that he demonstrated on the phone, as you get a chance to, go through his history, what matters to him, and what he's looking for, what he cares about, fit the culture piece of it, and obviously I studied the film as well, so I felt like it had a chance to be a really good fit at that point.
When you guys are looking position by position at young guys, of who, like the separation of guys that are ready now and guys that may need a little bit more time, is that usually obvious to you guys as coaches on film or on the practice field, or is there usually some debate, a gray area about a guy?
Well, I think it's not who they are today. There's a journey that everybody's going through that individually and collectively as a team we're going through here during the course of training camp, and how quickly they continue to grow from practice to practice is a part of the projection of where they're going to be, and how they handle, you get into team periods, good play, bad play, whatever it might be, their ability to reset and go play the next play. It's the player's responsibility to prove he's going to play at a championship level. Once he proves that, then it's our responsibility to find a role and ask him to do the things that he can do at a really high level.
This is kind of out of left field, but a lot of players yesterday had talked about the off-campus dinners that they've had where maybe they're not with their closest teammate or with a guy in their position group. There was somebody on the other side of the ball. They said you have made that an emphasis. Why has that been such an emphasis this summer with this team?
It's something that we've done, throughout our history here. We did more of it this offseason, did a better job of accomplishing that. I think it's always been super important that your team is connected. O-lineman walks by a DB, you know who he is, what he's about, and like what his dreams, goals, aspirations, like you have a common bond, and you go back 20 years, everybody was living in the same dorm, same apartment complex. It's a different era now, and I said it yesterday, but what it takes to go win on Saturdays on the field hasn't changed, and so just carving out opportunities where again we get a chance to just connect as a football team outside of football, and that makes us better on the football side of it.
How hard is that to achieve in this day and age with the transfer portal? Guys can leave at random times. And because of that, have you made it more of an emphasis? Do you feel like it needs to be more of an emphasis?
Certainly did a better job, made more of an emphasis of it this offseason. It is different. It is harder. But again, what it takes to go win on Saturdays hasn't changed. And so it's important that, our staff and our players are all in on that. And I think that's one of the unique things at this point. Like, when we do our exit interviews, one of the things they wanted was more opportunities to do those things, which I think speaks to who they are and what they want the culture to be.
Two more, Sam and Austin. Joey talked about yesterday going through spring installs back at home, how he did it in 4
Is this
days.
Halsley or Aguilar?
Oh, Aguilar, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, and he also talked about during the break, he would show up at 7 a.m., leave at 9 p.m. He had to be let in and out of the facility. Just how important was it for him to do that, and are you seeing that paying off early?
Yep, the timing of when he got here, unique, and not something that we haven't had before, but it applies an urgency that's always there, but as late as he's getting here, man, super urgent, and him being able to get exposed, digest, and become comfortable with what we're doing. If you're playing quarterback and you're back there thinking you got no chance, so it's got to become second nature. It's got to become your primary language, and he's worked really hard at that. All right, I think we're good. All right, thank y'all.